Desert Diaries. Week 22. Hello, Arizona calling. Oh, do you know what? It feels good to say that. So I made it home after a series of 3 flights that seemed to last longer than the time I was actually ever away. I finally touched down in Phoenix, dazed and rather confused, on a Sunday morning. In fact, I touched down in Phoenix a whole hour before I'd actually left Australia. Thank you, International Dateline. Yeah, work that one out, brain. So I don't know about you, but I find arriving at an airport really stressful. Your legs are a bit wobbly, your brain's a bit addled from the flight, and then you have to walk for what seems like miles to line up and be scrutinised by immigration officers who always make me feel like they're trying to catch me out. It's just ridiculous. I remember going to New York years ago and the man behind the glass barking at me, "Why are you here? Why are you visiting New York?" I literally couldn't think of why I'd come. I was that overwhelmed by it all. In the end, I mumbled something about going to the shops, I think, or something very interesting. A friend of mine actually shared a story with me once that he got so nervous at US immigration that when he was asked, "Who are you travelling with?" he replied, "My 2 best friends," because that's what he was doing. And when the officer asked him what their names were, he was so flustered, he said, "I can't remember." But they let me back in, and here I am. Actually, when I said on Twitter that I was leaving Australia, someone replied to me and said, "Safe journey home, Sam." Really lovely. But they put home in inverted commas. And it kind of got me thinking, would it feel like home when I arrived back in Arizona? It's the first time I've left the United States, of course, since arriving just 5 months ago. Would it feel like I'd come home, or would it feel a bit awkward and unsettled, especially after such an emotional time away? Well, I'm glad to report the second my girls ran over to me in the airport and instantly started complaining that one of them had more time pushing the luggage trolley than the other one, and had I bought them a present, then the dog leapt up at me and nearly knocked me for 6, and I saw the cacti and I saw the blue skies, and I thought, do you know what? Yes, this does feel like home, even if it does feel really quite new and quite often a very confusing place to live. Before I'd left Phoenix, it had still been, at the start of September, absolutely boiling. Unable to take the dog for a walk past 7:30 in the morning, aircon struggling against the heat, that boiling. I'd asked a man in a shop, actually, that I'd visited, when does it start to cool down? And he'd simply raised his eyebrows and said, "Well, you know, Halloween." But I have to say that I've noticed a big change in the last 3 weeks. It's still around 35 degrees during the day, but the mornings and the evenings are now really cooling down. I popped to the grocery store, as I say here, last night about 9 o'clock, and I almost, nearly considered putting a jacket on. We're not talking a parka or a duffel coat, we're talking a thin jacket, but yeah, not quite got there yet. Actually, whilst I was away, there was an almighty monsoon which lasted for about 3 hours. Howling wind, bending the palm trees nearly double, lashing rain. Our house actually sprung 3 separate leaks. Lightning was flashing every other second for the whole duration. It was amazing to see, even if I only witnessed it on a video message. The signs of the storm, though, weeks on, are still everywhere. Our street is still about a centimetre deep in sand, as are all the surrounding roads as well. There are palm fronds and various other bits of palm detritus absolutely everywhere, and pools of water still lie around some bits of desert scrubland. It was one heck of a storm. Well, next week, the kids are on half term, or fall break, as they call it here, and my daughter needs to get a new pair of glasses. So I am going to dive into the American healthcare system for the very first time. Wish me luck. I'll see you in the desert.